to my channel. My name is Leah. For those who don't know me, I am a certified life coach, relationship coach, motivational speaker, and I like to give advice on a lot of things. I live life. I know a lot. And I've been hurt. I've been through things just like the next person. So I can share different experiences with you about life, about relationships, about self-love. Okay? So, just stick with me. Don't go away from the channel. As a matter of fact, subscribe to the channel, like the channel. If you have any remarks, comments, or what have you, send me an email. I would love to hear your comments and your advice, or anything to that nature. Okay, now today's video is how to move on after a breakup. How do you move on after a breakup? Do anyone knows? Because it's easier said than done. Now people could tell you, like, you're in a toxic relationship, or with your mate, your husband, with a friend. They can be toxic as well, holding you back from things as well. And they could say, well, you need to leave that person or get away from that person. It's easier said than done. Okay, maybe I do need to get away from that person. Maybe that person is the way that they are, but you telling me to get away from that person is not helping me. What's going to help me is you telling me how to get away from that person, what to do to get away from that person, right? So I have 3 things that I think will be very helpful in a person that's trying to leave a toxic relationship, or relationship that's going nowhere. Okay, the first one is change your thought process. You have to change your thought process. When someone breaks up with someone, and you're like, oh girl, she finally left him. Oh my goodness, she left him. They broke up. Okay, y'all broke up today, but mentally, y'all broke up months ago. Mentally, y'all broke up years ago. Okay, when that first time you started getting that hunch, or that something's not right, or that intuition, or that you start to think about certain things. You think back to that time when you first started to feel something is not quite right. Think back to that time where you had a hunch, or you had a knot in your throat. Think back to that time when you was thinking about, should I leave? Should I stay? Things not right. I'm not happy. Think back to that time, because that was the time that you should have been hitting it right on the nail, hitting the nail right on the head. That's the time that you should have been doing it, because that was the time when you started to feel things kind of unraveling. Things quite didn't feel right. But instead of you think about why you was thinking this way, you ignored it. You ignored it. And you went on with your life and with this relationship. And then months went by, possibly years went by. And now you at that breaking point now, that you are so broken, you are so distraught that wow, I finally left him. Now, instead of you dealing with it, what do? You try to beg him to come back. Or you feeling a certain way, and you trying to figure out why we breaking up, and you trying to get him to talk to you. You trying to get her to talk to you, whatever. And things are not quite going the way you want. Think about that time when you first started feeling it. that time you first had that feeling. That's the time that you need to be talking. There's no need to talk now. There's no need to talk after we broke up and decide we're gonna go our own separate ways. This is not the time. The time to talk was when you was first feeling that certain way. Okay? That was when the time to talk. So you was ignoring everything. So you have to move on, right? So think about that time. Think about why in the world did I let myself, get drawn in to a person like this. You're intelligent, you're bright, you're loving, you're a queen. How the heck did you let a peasant pull on your robe that way and got in the kingdom? How did that happen? How? So you have to start to take that time and think back to what was wrong that I was even attracted to this person. What was it? Right? What in the world? So now you need to get with that person. Not that person that's going to pacify you. Not that person that's going to be like, girl, don't worry about it. Girl, maybe you should try to talk to him. You see how old you are? You better stay with that man. Okay, you ain't no spring chicken. You don't need to be talking to nobody that's gonna tell you some nonsense like that. You need to talk to someone that's going to tell you the truth. They're gonna tell you that you're better than this. You should have left him years ago. He was doing this, he was doing that. Remember that time when you was complaining that he stayed out at night? Remember that time you was complaining that he don't answer your text? Remember that time you was complaining that his baby mama keep calling you wee hours of the night, wee hours in the morning? Remember that time when he always put his family, his mom, and everybody ahead of you? Remember that time he never stood up for you when things was rough and you needed him? You had a family situation going on or something in your life going on, but he didn't see the importance that you had, the situation that you had. He didn't see the importance in that. The only thing that was important was what he had going on. Remember those times? So you need somebody that's gonna get that in your thought process so you can start to process it. So you could think back like, okay, yeah, you know what, you're right. Because the more they bring it to your remembrance, the more you start to backtrack and look at what was going on and why things was happening the way they were. That's when you're gonna get that frame of thinking or that mindset to help you move on. Until you can get to that point where first you have to acknowledge the problem, right? That's just like somebody's on crack, alcoholic, somebody a drug user, or abuser, whatever types of abuse, whatever. They are not going to heal till they first admit they have a problem. The alcoholic, he's not gonna heal till he first can say he could stand up in that AA meeting and say, hi, my name is Joe Blow and I'm an alcoholic. Because he has to form those words. Once those words come out of his mouth, it gets in here and then he can start to heal. That's the same way with you getting away from this person. You got to be with somebody. Listen to me now. You have to talk to somebody that's going to let you see the mistakes that you was making along the way. All the things that was happening, all the things that wasn't making you happy. You need someone that's going to bring that back to you. And once you start to talk about it and you start to hear it. You're gonna hear it more and more and more. That's when you're gonna realize, okay, you know what? I can do this. I can leave and not come back. I can do this. But first, you have to get that mindset. All right? That's the first one. The second one is you have to grieve. You have to grieve. You are not going to be able to move forward unless you grieve. Because you're walking around in a fog. You're walking around like you just want to end it all. If your mind ain't stable enough, you might, contemplate suicide, contemplate, taking pills or different things to end it all because your mind is not stable. You have to be able to get into yourself, get into your feelings, get into that point of pain, because once you get into that point of feeling the pain, you are not going to want to feel that pain anymore. Okay, you have to get to that point where you in the house, you crying your eyes out, you in the dark, you don't want to eat, you don't want to sleep, you just want to cry. If that's what it takes, that's what it takes. Okay, when a person leaves us and they're deceased, and a lot of times, how people say they grieve their own way. Everybody don't grieve the same. Some people, the loss of a loved one, they can deal with it head on. They can deal with what's going on. They know, that person's not coming back. They're hurting. And they begin the healing process. And then, they're crying, boo-hooing. They're getting it all out. This is how they grieving. But then you'll find another person, their loved one passed away, and you will never know it. It's like they going on like every day is Sunday. Everything is cool, right? And then, they making the funeral arrangements, and your family is coming in from out of town, and it's like a family reunion. Everybody's talking about the old time that they had when they was younger, just your family together. And then you go to the funeral, and then you just lose it all. That's how a lot of people grieve. They, it won't hit them till they realize they see that body in the casket. They see that body going down into the ground, and then they lose it all. You know why they lose it all? Because it finally hit them that their loved one is not ever coming back. So that's the same way you're going to have to be when you getting over this breakup. You grieve, you cry, you scream, you holler, but you're doing it in your house, right? You're doing it enough to just to get it out. A good cry, ain't nothing wrong with a good cry. Just get it all out of you. Just you gotta get it all out. You gotta get it all out. And then once that's all over and done with, then and only then you can sit back and realize, what the heck was I going Google Gaga over that for? Because once you in it, you don't really realize that you ain't had nobody. You ain't realize that he was a buster, a dusty. You didn't realize that till you got away, till you got out of that situation. Once you got through that healing, now you realize you ain't had nothing. You ain't had nothing. And most of the times we so upset about losing that person because what we thinking about? Oh my God, he's gonna be with that girl and she's gonna get all the benefits that I had. Now, once you did this healing, Now you're gonna look at it and say, she ain't got nothing. She got a dusty. She got a cornball. Okay? He ain't all that. But he made you feel a certain way when y'all first met. So that's why he caught you and you got caught up. You got caught up. So now the healing begins. You got all that grieving out. The healing begins. Right? Do not jump into another relationship. Wait till you get it in your spirit that you're able to receive love. Because if you jump into another relationship, you're going to think about the other person. You're going to think about what went wrong. And you might maybe blame yourself. So now you're going to look at it like, okay, so I did that with him. So this one, I'm going to do everything I can for this one. But what you're doing is creating the same pattern that you did from the last relationship. You need to be by yourself so you will know who you are. How do you know who you are? Because when you're by yourself, you realize what you can tolerate, what you can put up with, what you want in life, what's your goals, what's your aspirations. Because when you was with this person, you probably did everything that they wanted you to do. You probably did their goals was probably your goals. Okay? What they wanted ended up being what you wanted. So you was kind of like a yes woman. So whatever they said went. Y'all went to the movies, y'all saw whatever movie he wanted to see. Y'all go out to dinner, y'all go to his favorite spots. When you never had an identity with this person. I hate to say it. You never had an identity with this person. So now that you got away from this person, now it's time for you to get closure. That's number 3. Number 3 is find your own closure. A lot of us get so upset after a breakup because we feel like the person needs to be calling you. They need to be trying to apologize. They need to, trying to make it right with you. And if they don't call you anymore, they don't apologize, anything, you just all to pieces. You're going to have to realize that you have to make your own closure. Make your own apology. Apologize to yourself. Apologize to yourself for falling for that nonsense. Apologize to yourself for putting up with them lies. Apologize to yourself for not following your own goals. The things that you need for you. Whatever your goals are. Apologize to yourself for putting that book on the back burner. For putting school on the back burner. Apologize to yourself. And then start speaking life into everything that you want to do. Start talking about it. You speak it out loud. Once you hear it over and over and over and over and over, you'll get it in here. Believe me, I probably sound like a broken record because I say this all the time. But if you speak it, you will get it. You will get it. It'll come like natural. It'll become like sunlight to you. How many times we, for example, say like that, you got your favorite TV show, your favorite movie that you always look at, right? You will look at this movie 50 times. You know the scenes coming one after the other. You already know what's going to happen because you done saw the movie so many times, right? You done heard the movie so many times. You already know what's going to happen. Boom, 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 boom. Right? You going to know what's going to happen in this movie because you done seen it. You done heard it over and over and over and over. You done heard it so much that is in here that you can't never forget it. So you do that the same way when you trying to affirm yourself, when you trying to better yourself, when you trying to speak life into what you need to do. You say it over and over and over. Once you start to hear it, once you start to speak it, you'll hear it, you'll get it here. You speak it, you hear it, you get it here. Over and over and over and over and over. It might sound corny to some people, but to me, this is the best way. This is the best way. You get up in the morning, set out your day, do your affirmations, okay? It can be anything. Today, I'm not talking to anybody that has something negative to say. The minute they say something negative, okay, well, you know what? I gotta go. That could be your thing. The next day, I don't care what's going on today. I am definitely going to finish this chapter. I am definitely going to finish this course. I don't care what's going on today. I'm going to finish. You got to get this in your mind, get this in your spirit, get this in your soul. Okay? Once you do all of that, it's in here. It's not going nowhere. It's not going nowhere. So once you get all of that down pat, and you follow it, okay, now you are accessible, you are ready, you are willing, you are able to look and realize, okay, this is the man God has for me, right? Stop thinking about, oh, I'm too old, I'm this, I'm that. I thought God was going to send somebody to me. How you know he didn't? How do you know he didn't? How do you know? Huh? How do you know? Every time you talking to this guy, Mr. Do-Gooder, ain't doing nothing right. Every time you get with this guy, get with that guy, then all of a sudden, it's another guy come from somewhere. Right? He might be trying to talk to you, but you looking at him like he's corny. He's a cornball. How you know that's not the one that God sent to you? But see, your mind is so in tune into this fool. Your mind is so in tune into what's going on here. You can't look straight ahead at what's coming your way. You looking here, you looking there, instead of looking straight. So now we're not going to do that anymore. Okay? Because when they say, well, I'm waiting for God to send me somebody, how you know? How you know? I think when I was a little girl, I heard this story, this passage. Or maybe, I probably wasn't a little girl, but I heard this passage. This man was in the boat. You know the story of the boats, right? Well, if you don't, I'm going to tell you now. This man was in a boat. He was sailing in the boat. He's on the ocean, right? He's a God-fearing man, and he's saved. This is my father. Blah blah blah. God is gonna take care of me, right? He's out sailing, and what happened? The boat was starting to sink. It was a little sailboat. It was about to sink, right? But he was he started praying to God. Oh my God, God is going to help me. He's going to help me. I'm just waiting on my father, right? A boat, a ship, another, like a rescue boat or something, came. Zzz, come on, get off the boat, get off the boat. You're going to drown, get off the boat, you're going to drown. He said, no, my father's gonna save me. I'll wait for God to save me. I'm okay. I know God's gonna save me. He went on about his business. So now another boat comes. Speedboat. Get off the boat, man. Get off the boat. You're gonna drown. You're gonna drown. Get off the boat. Right? Once again, No, I'm waiting for God to send me somebody. Um, I'm good. Just go ahead. I'm good. My father's gonna save me. Okay, he went on about his business. The third boat, motorboat, right? The third boat come around. Hey, come on, you're gonna drown. Get off that boat. What you doing? Get off that boat. No, my father's gonna save me. He's not gonna leave me. He's not gonna let me down. I'm waiting for my father. I'm waiting for God Almighty. So the third boat went on about his business, right? So the man that was in the boat, he drowned. The boat it sunk, whatever, he drowned. So anyway, the man, he gets to heaven, and he says to God, oh my, why you let me drown? I was waiting for you. You said you was gonna save me. You said you told me to trust in you, and you was gonna send somebody. You was gonna send your help, send your angels to help me. Why you let me drown? God looked at him and said, I sent you 3 boats. You see that? You see that? We so in tune at oh, God's gonna send me somebody. God's gonna send me somebody. But you stand right here in your situation. How you know he ain't sent you somebody? You ignored him. Just like the man with the boat. He ignored those 3 boats, he died. And then God told him, I sent you 3 boats. Okay? What's the moral of that story? What's the moral of that story? God helped those who help themselves. That's it. How do you expect God to help you? How do you expect him to send you a husband when you are not making preparations? When you are steady dealing with no goods? Make preparations. Prepare yourself. Get your mind right. Get in a place where you can accept when that man comes your way. Right? All right, guys. That's all I have for today. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Subscribe.